evening, and I welcome you to your transformative program, Politics and Beyond. My name is Emmanuel, Jr., and we are still discussing the issue of flood. Remember, I told you the last time we had a conversation on flood that over the past years, we've dedicated such moments engaging individuals that are experts in the field. Unfortunately, year in, year out, we seem to be recording the same thing, unfortunate thing. And that is why I think at this stage, when we are ready to discuss anything flood, it will just be so important that you will be the one that will engage in. The floods came in, I think, 2 weeks ago. That was on Monday, Sunday into Monday. We had all the disasters and we had all the unfortunate incidents that you can think of. We came in to have this conversation. We decided through the government that we're going to have 2 days dedicated to cleaning the cities and the gutters of this country. We are done with it. It is just prudent for us, even though the rains are still with us. This morning, I really thought it was going to rain looking at the clouds that was forming. Fortunately, it didn't. And I'm saying fortunately because if it had, there would have been another unfortunate incident. It didn't. But that is why it is important for us to come back and have this conversation. Life after flood. What are we doing? Are we still waiting? Are we going to have a 9-day wonder where we are going to say, okay, we are waiting for the flood to take place, and then after the flood has taken place, we'll dedicate 2 days to do cleanup, and after doing the cleanup, after the 2 days, we'll wait probably a week before we will even be able to clearly clear or take off the rubbish that we took from the gutters. Because as we speak, in most of our communities, at least in my community, the rubbish and all the things that we took from the gutters, they are still there by the roadside. And that's why I said it is fortunate that it didn't rain, because if it had rained, all those things would have gone back into the gutter. What would have been the use of the cleanup? We are going to discuss the flood. We are looking at life after flood, and we are going to see again what you think we can do in making sure that even if we are not able to eradicate absolutely flood and the effects of it, we will be able, to a very large and reasonable extent, we will be able to minimize its effects. Flooding in Accra is a governance failure, and it is not just the rain. That is one thing that we need to appreciate. For example, budget for the silting exists in this country, but about 68% of drains in Accra remains blocked, even though we have budgets for that. Enforcement of dumping and wetland bylaws is also weak and opaque. Indeed, Accra floods because accountability is missing. The reality is that budgets are spent, meanwhile, drains stay blocked. Flooding in Accra is mostly human cost. So any approach to deal with flood in Accra must tackle 4 areas, namely the drains, wetlands, waste, and planning. I'm going to take this part again. Flooding in Accra is mostly human cost. No one should be deceived. So any approach to deal with flood in Accra must tackle 4 areas, namely our drains, wetlands, waste, planning. It is important for us to establish structures and systems that will stop blocking drains. Solid waste in gutters is the #1 cause of flood in Accra. We must stop building in waterways, wetlands. Buffer zones must stay clear. It takes planning and enforcement. We must also plan and enforce, as I indicated some seconds ago. Permits, inspections, and community monitoring is very, 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 very important. Authorities and citizens, we all seem frustrated But it's time for us to turn this frustration into facts and facts into action that will be of benefit to this country. We need to pursue the following sustainable development goals. SDG 16, accountable institutions. We need to enforce that. SDG 11, sustainable cities. It is very important for us to do that. And the third one, SDG 13, climate action. We must not take it for granted. Let's remember always that floods don't start in the sky. They start in our gutters. We should therefore make it impossible for authorities and impossible for all of our citizens to look away. I'm still your host, Emmanuel Jr. We'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll discuss into details life after flood. Stay tuned.
The average human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally. Natural mineral water. Simply natural. For bulk purchase, call 0596 273 546 or 0596 273 547. This advert is FDA approved.
If a cry na menyisika, edia ye mefui.
Ehinfa pa na menya bosia, edia tre medwuma yimu.
Kai kra mabre. Me busia ato taxi fufu. Suhum Rural Bank.
Suhum Rural Bank.
Yemamwa kwa baba Suhum Rural Bank. Ye won hye ahodo bi te se dwadifo abosia, ekokro bosia, susu account. And it does our savings account. Me bada chain savings account. And then the keka home. Suhum Rural Bank was 03422918896. Now one so what to me say.
Suhum Rural Bank. Ama ene mayeka una.
Suhum Rural Bank. Enti me pa minie.
Me damwase.
Suhum Rural Bank, growing our heritage.
Welcome to AutoCheck Vehicle Diagnostic and Licensing Center.
I hear my car can be checked here without going to Accra.
Sure.
Emission, check.
Alignment, check.
Brakes, check.
Visit AutoChecks at Koforodia Aquadrum Road for the roadworthiness of your vehicle, from saloon cars to heavy-duty industrial vehicles. Madam, your car is now ready for the road.
Thank you so much. Auto checks. Check.
AutoChecks, your safety, our priority.
Check, auto checks.
Welcome back. As I indicated, we are having a conversation on the flood. We want to see life after the flood and what has happened. Indeed, we went into a mode of cleaning up Greater Accra. I saw some interesting videos of some MPs moving in their various constituencies, and some were even shouting at individuals for not coming out to do cleanup and all that. So, I mean, I heard, and I believe all of you also followed it. I engaged my community, and I believe you also did engage your community and all that. But the question we ask ourselves is, after all these engagements and the rest, what happens next, and what are we doing next? The rains are still with us. Are we still going to play the ostrich and then have the fire service approach? It comes, we have 2 days clean up. We are even unable to quickly and instantly clear the rubbish that we take from the gutters, and they are still heaped along our streets, waiting for the next rain to move it back into the gutters so that the cleanup becomes cost 90. Is that what we've been waiting for? And so we want to discuss, and you are going to be my guest. So at the right time, I will activate the phone lines for you to share your position on what is happening, whether or not we are really committed to minimizing the flood effect that we are having in this country. Remember, I told you that the flood doesn't start in the sky. No, it is not the rain that causes the flood. It starts from the gutters. It starts from our drains. It starts from us failing to break or to create the pathway for the rains and the waters to move in. So the crisis, we need to understand that the forces driving uncontrolled property development across Accra, and this is what we need to understand, the forces that drives uncontrolled property development across Greater Accra. In Greater Accra, what the reality is that Accra is growing faster than it can govern. And that is very important. It is growing faster than it can govern. The character of Accra's growth is horizontal and not vertical. It is horizontal and not vertical. And that is where the issue is. That is where the issue is. The character of Accra's growth is horizontal instead of it being vertical. So it is pushing outward instead of pushing upward. And so we are going beyond our boundaries. And the unfortunate thing, which I have said so many times, because it looks like that is really the approach of most of our leaders. Instead of us being curative, we rather, the approach has been curative instead of being preventive. Just like I keep saying, instead of us being proactive, we wait and we are rather reactive. We've seen these signs. Accra is pushing outward instead of upward. And with all of this, we are still so comfortable. Instead of us being creative in our approach, we are rather being preventive. And this leads, the approach has been curative instead of preventive, And, it leads to 3 main things. We end up having urban sprawl. We end up having squatter settlements. And then we also end up having flooding. Because we have failed to be preventive, we end up having these 3 things. Now let's look at uncontrolled developments. And I'll quickly take you through 9 drivers that create self-reinforcing cycle, where development continues without adequate control. We are failing to control development in Greater Accra, and that is what is leading to the flood. The first one is the rapid urbanization. That's the first factor. The rapid urbanization. The second one is the weak zoning controls. We have the dual land tenure. Tenure system is also an issue. Weak enforcement. Infrastructure, strained redevelopment. It is an issue. Residential and commercial densification. Now we don't even know which areas are supposed to be residential and which areas are supposed to be commercial. In Greater Accra, it is now a mix and it goes all along. Everyone goes, it's like free for all. Then we also have the environmental encroachments. Infrastructural lack. And what I keep talking about, the last one, which is the reactive planning and management. This has been the reason why we are not able to control development in Greater Accra, which leads to urban sprawl, squatter settlements, and flooding in the system. So 9 key factors that drives that. It's what we've talked about. The disconnect. In Ghana, one of the major problems, and that's why I said earlier that our problem in this country is governance failure. When we are dealing with flood, the fundamental problem has to do with governance failure. And when I make reference to governance failure, I'm not talking about any particular government, because you see, right from Nkrumah's time to date, we've been having consistent flood. Sometimes it escalates, sometimes we minimize it and all that, but it has been there. Governance failure has been the key thing. Let's look at the disconnect. Multiple agencies is one of the key things that brings about the disconnect. Some days back, I heard the Minister of Local Governments talking about clean up and all that, and was making reference to, well, there's one that doesn't fall under local governance, it falls under another jurisdiction. You go to that jurisdiction, says no, it doesn't fall under us, it falls under that. So the basic thing under disconnection has to do with the fact that we have multiple agencies. We have outdated laws, weak capacity, and political interferences. And this is really, really, really important. And all these things undermines every planning effort, especially with political interference. And those of us who have been following political activities over the past years, especially in this Fourth Republic, you will remember that it looks like every government we've had under this Fourth Republic, anytime the Greater Accra mayor decides to do something, you can think of Jerry Blanson, you can just mention all of them. Van der Poy, the current MP. I mean, you can just mention or think of all the mayors we've had. Anytime they decide to do what they believe to be right, there's always political interferences, and that's what's the efforts. So one of the key things has to do with corruption in approvals, fragmented administration, appointed MMDCs. You see, when you appoint MMDCs, what it means is that authority and accountability is upward instead of it being downwards. This is what it means. Because they were appointed by the president or someone higher than them, they report to those persons instead of them reporting to the citizens and the people in the district. And so that also brings about the disconnect. We also look at the complex land tenure, and that has been one of the major problems in this country. Complex land tenure, weak technical capacity, outdated spatial data. You can't even have, modern data. You can't have data that is up to date. Sometimes we are planning and we are using 10 years, 20 years, 15 years data to do planning or to engage in planning. This talks about the disconnect, and this brings about the crisis. It gives the background, the understanding as to why we have the crisis in this country. Let's look at the impacts on Accra. How uncontrolled development is eroding infrastructure, environment, and social equity. The infrastructure breakdown, utility lag, brings about commuter crisis, catch-up planning, environmental degradation, and climate risk. This brings about unregulated construction on ecological sensitive land, and it is turning minor rain into major disasters. That is the unfortunate reality we have in this country, where just the little showers that comes, because we have unregulated construction on ecological sensitive lands, even minor rains ends up creating disasters in this country. Wetland encroachment has become the order of the day. The unfortunate thing is that we still have MCEs, DCEs, authorities that we are paying with our taxes to enforce the law. They will sit. And when I'm done, I'll show you a video of something that is taking place or happening right here, cantonment, and you'll be amazed. Instead of us ensuring that those that are being paid with our taxes are doing the right thing, they all go to sleep and they wait. A disaster happens. It will have to take the president of the day to wear Wellington boots and come to the streets before you will see authorities following him. People that are paid to work. It will take the president to come and do their work for them before you see them on the streets. Right, so wetland encroachment, blocked drainage channels, urban heat island effects, ecological collapse risk. That has to do with the environmental degradation and climate risk. But let's quickly look at the way forward or the path forward. What practically must be done? Strategic recommendations for a coordinated multi-sector approach to transform Accra's urban trajectory. These are the immediate things that we need to do. Actions and strategic priorities. Is it possible that we can remove encroachments? And yes, it is possible. We can do that. If we can, what is preventing us from doing that? Is it political interference? What is preventing us from doing that? Is it that we are not having individuals that we've given authorities to, but they do not even appreciate the authorities that they have? We need to remove encroachments. Reclaim and restore wetlands is very, very, very important. Enforce wetland regulations. Restrict zoning violations. Development control. It is only in Ghana that people or citizens will go and acquire land, decide what they want to put in there, before they will demand from government to come and give them street lights and other amenities, when the government has not even planned for that yet. And so we need developmental control. We need to penalize ecological land sales and construction. It is very important we do that. We just don't come today and then be seen breaking down buildings, structures that are not legal, structures that are not authorized. A day, two, and we go to sleep. The next day, it comes back again. Development, compliance, and sanctions. And the very last one, we need to deliberate state policies and interventions. These, again, are the practical ways by which we can and we must ensure that the flood, if not eradicated fully, which probably practically it may not be possible, but we need to ensure that we bring it to the barest minimal. I have said it, and I'm saying it again because it is important for us to appreciate that. That first and foremost, anything about flood is a governance failure. Flooding in Accra is a systemic issue. Solutions require planning, enforcement, and political commitments. Very, very important. You plan, you enforce, and then ensure that we have political commitments. If these three things do not exist at any given point in time, we will only be playing the ostrich when it comes to flood, dealing with flood in this country. Life after flood. I have indicated earlier, two things you must have in mind. Flood, or the disaster that we get from it, is a governance failure. Not government, governance failure. And I've taken you through the things, the factors, what we need to do. Most importantly, we need to plan, we need to enforce, we need to make sure that we don't have political interference when we are dealing with the issue of flood. all of us, irrespective of our political affiliation, must see it as a national issue for once that we need to deal with. Governance failure. The second one is the fact that flood doesn't start in the sky. No. It starts from our gutters. Think about that. Flood doesn't start in the sky. It starts from our gutters. The drainage, enforcement, planning, enforcement, making sure that we don't have political interference, enforcement. How can we do this practically so that we will not be having this issue of every year in, year out, we are being affected? The unfortunate thing is that it has become such a serious issue that even if you decide that where you are going to keep your place neat, the failure on the part of someone else will end up coming to affect you. This recent flood, it's been recorded that there are places that has never seen flood before, yet this recent flood saw flood there. So that is the reality and where we are now. Life after the flood. I want us to look at this video, and this is coming from Cantonment. Cantonment falls under Ladadekotopong municipality. Just have a look at this. You see this video? Before we get, can we go back a bit? Let's start again. Have you seen the red writings there? It is called Stop Work, if you can read it. Stop Work by Ladma, sorry. So yes, Ladma. So that is Ladadekotopong Municipal Assembly, Ladma. So they saw it. And you know why they said they stop work? They said they stop work because, you see, the structure is right in the gutter. The pillars that they used to erect this structure is in the gutter. This is cantonment. Cantonment is in the gutter. So they saw it. The municipal assembly, Ladadekotopong, saw it, quickly went there and said that they should stop work. They had that inscription on it, stop work. Only God knows what happened to the stop work. See what has happened. This is the current state of it. Stop work, and yet they allow them to complete the structure. You see how they have built comfortably on the gutter or in the gutter. So there it goes, for you to appreciate the gutter very well. Have you seen right after this is the gutter? The interesting thing is that it is not on it. It is in it because the pillars goes down into the gutter. So when it rains, where is it going to pass? Where is the rain going to pass? Where is the water passing through? What is strange is that we have an MC. His office quickly identified this, went to tell them to stop work. Between the time of stop work and the completion, what has happened to it? Between the time they went to write with the red paint, stop work or remove, what has happened to it from remove to the completion of it? And I believe there are so many of such around and in your community. I can quickly think of one around Soutuom, another one at Adenta, just around the Catholic Church, just down the Adenta Snett Flats. Those who live around that vicinity knows what I'm talking about. So this is what I'm talking about, that we are dealing with planning, we are dealing with enforcement, we are dealing with political interference. The MC, actually, I tried reaching him, but I mean, the office, not the person per se, but I tried reaching the office. Unfortunately, I couldn't get anyone to have a conversation with because I wanted to follow up on this to find out whether or not they are sleeping on their job, and are they expecting to be paid at the end of the month. This is the reality that we are talking about. Flood doesn't start in the sky. It starts from our gutters. This is a typical example. The next day, you hear that cantonment that has never flooded is now experiencing flood. It starts from this. This is how it starts. What are we doing as a country? Why are we doing this to ourselves as a country? Are we going to wait for the president to wear Wellington boots and come to the streets before MCs and DCs and ministers and MPs will be seen doing what they are supposed to do? Moving on is another video, and this is an interesting one, where you will see a piece of land that has been earmarked as road being sold. In fact, not being, it has been sold to a developer. And that developer has started construction on it. So it also talks about making sure that we have the right structures at the right place. Let's look at this. In fact, let's listen, because it comes with a commentary, and I want you to listen to it.
So I don't know the wisdom with which ECG would plant poles along a stretch all the way to the top, all the way to the top. So this is the road we're talking about, complaining about most of the time from Gulf City, that we claim Zonda has come to purchase. And they are erecting a wall and blocking it. So this is the road to the left, the road to the right, and then where I am parked is the one opposite. So it's supposed to be a through road from here all the way to the top. ECG has mounted poles. So it is so baffling when TDC says it is not on their drawings as a road. What it means is that all the way from this side, all the way from this side, through over like 2 kilometers, there is no road that will take you from the residential area onto the main road. That is not wisdom. So what we are asking is, so if even this was not on your plotting, and you realize that such a huge tract of land, like the size of a stadium, is being taken over by an individual, you couldn't have said, create a path for the residents to use as an access route. There we go. So that is the wisdom Ghanaians. So there's one thing I want to draw your attention to, the authorities. So this is it. There's supposed to be a link road from where this car is parked. As you can see, there's another car coming from behind. There's supposed to be a link road from here all the way to the top towards the golf course. So this is Tema Golf City, where we have a golf course up the road. Now this is a huge tract of land that has been purchased by Zonda. I hear Zonda has purchased this land. And in so doing, they are encroaching on the land. They are trying to block off the road that is supposed to serve residents living here. That is those coming from the right, those coming from straight, and those coming from left. It's a crossroads all the way up to the golf course. So how come that Zonda has purchased this land? Allegedly, as I hear, Zonda is a company that has purchased it. And they are blocking off the road so that it becomes a T-junction. You can clearly see that the fence wall is not straight. The straight part of the wall is where it ends for the road to continue. But they are blocking off the road. How can somebody buy a road in Ghana? How can somebody just buy a road in Ghana? This is unbelievable. So this is a fence wall to another adjoining, structure. This is the road. So as you can see, those are the electric poles. Those are the electric poles. All the way to the top, all the way to the top. So as you can see, I don't think ECG is going to put electric poles in people's houses or in people's properties. I have called the assembly. There's a gentleman there called Mike. I called him, informed him of this thing. And he told me he had sent the task force to come and check. But it is It is so visible that the task force didn't come to do anything because they have erected pillars. So there you go, all the way to the end. This is so wrong. This is so wrong. We can't allow foreign investors to come and take a piece on us. They can't do that. They can't take advantage of us. They can't take advantage of the situation. This is, it's pure nonsense. You don't do this. This is a road that serves a community. And then
all right, so I mean, this is another video that you needed to see, and it is talking about the realities on the ground and what is happening in this country. In fact, you just can't fathom, you can't understand the mindset of some of our leaders, especially those, as I indicated, we are paying with our taxes to ensure that they enforce the law and they do the right thing. They just don't care about the environment. They don't care about anyone. Worst off is that as a result of their negligence, the effect comes to you and it comes to me, who are not even benefiting from their negligence. I have on the line the one who authored this video, the one who recorded this video and shared with me. And I'm talking about my own brother, Patrice. Patrice, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can. Good to hear you. Good evening. It's been long. It's been ages. You've neglected me, but it is.
Patrice, I can never neglect you. You know that. But welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Thank you so very much, my
brother. And I must really appreciate, these are just two of the videos among the number of videos that you shared with me. And if you listen to the other ones, the passion with which you were talking, it is so clear that all is not lost. We need, as citizens, to take responsibility into our own hands and make sure that we force the authorities to do the right thing. Patrice, can you tell us what exactly is happening in the video?
So what it is that there's a land at Gulf City because we are just adjacent a golf course, an international golf course. So there's a place called the Old Aflau Road. So that road is the one coming down from the Ashaman roundabout, or Timber Market as people call it. It comes all the way down to a place called Man French. People have corrupted it and call it Frenchman, but it's Man French. Now, from there straight to where the Boss tank farms are. Originally, that was a road that was used to join the Aflau Road, but then it was changed. And then we had the main Chemamoto way that ran through the Bombaria. So there was this huge tract of land, almost like the size of a stadium there. Then all of a sudden, we saw that somebody was erecting fence wall. But originally, anytime I was going to Tema and I wanted to dodge the traffic, I would just put in my GPS. And anytime I got to a particular spot, it asked me to turn left. Turn left. Then I said to the GPS, what is wrong with you? There's a wall erected here. How do I turn left? So I would continue and go and make the left that I'm used to. Then I get on the main road. Then one day I see that the walls have come down. And I look through and I see that, there are electric poles lined up all the way from down to the top. So I ask the neighbors around that, what is happening here? Then they tell me that a Chinese company has come to acquire the land, and that is Zondatech. And they are blocking off the road. They are now blocking off the road. And I'm like, now I understand the reason GPS tells me to use it. So apparently there's a road there. So quickly I call the MCE and I inform him of the matter. I call the assemblyman as well, inform him of same. So the MCE paid us a visit on a Sunday. He paid us a visit. That was very kind of him. Came to see the place and stopped the Chinese people from working. Because from his estimation, it looked clear to be a road. Then he asked them to present their permit before they would start doing anything. Nothing of that sort happened. So there was a meeting that was called after about a month. The TDC boss himself was there. I was there present. And then we went on the land to do our own recce. And we told him that there's a road here. So he told me point blank that there was no road there according to the drawings that they had. And I was like, oh, wow. It would be highly impossible for ECG to actually plant poles in a straight line that leads down the road. And it would be highly impossible for us to drive like a kilometer or two without any road. The only thing that we see is a hazard. And that hazard is where we have the pylons that run from Akosombo all the way to Tema.
Patrice, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. I was asking, who told you that the place is not meant to be a road? Is it who told you? Is it the MC?
The CDC boss. No, the CDC boss.
Okay, all right.
The CDC boss.
Okay, please go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. However, the day before, the owner of the company, the Chinese lady, had told residents that she was willing and ready to create a road there because she has seen that there is a road there. So she said she was going to create a road for the residents, and we agreed. Little did I know that the TDC boss was going to come there to scuttle everything.
Wow.
Yeah, the drawings, according to him, they have. But now, fast forward, they have erected the wall. They have erected the fence wall. The only thing that they did was they widened the road. They just widened the road at the back. But then they erected the wall. And this is what happened. The beautiful thing happened. Then it rained so heavily.
Yeah.
Just in a week. It rained so heavily. Their whole place was flooded to their waist level. None of them could enter the residence.
Wow.
None of them could enter. Now, a gentleman calls me to say that they have seen the site plan. They have found it, and now they have seen what it is. The place was earmarked for a lorry park, a clinic, and then a school. That was what the place was earmarked for.
A hospital?
A clinic, not a
clinic?
hospital. A clinic.
I mean, a clinic, market, or playground?
Park. Yes. And a school.
And a school.
Yes.
That is the earmark, the place that has been demarcated for these three amenities.
So that should tell you the size of the land. That should tell you the size of the land.
Do you have an idea who did the selling?
Oh, it must be TDC. It must be sanctioned by TDC because it is under the jurisdiction of TDC. So if anything at all, even if...
And yet the TDC boss told you that it wasn't in the plan.
Yeah, the plan that they have of the place doesn't include a thoroughfare.
That's interesting.
So it's just, yes, it was quite interesting.
That's
so in our mind, you were like, even if there's no thoroughfare on the drawing that you have, just take a look at the location.
Yeah.
And then just tell them to demarcate the road because we don't have any road. Now, there's a school also adjacent the property that the woman has acquired.
Yeah.
Guess where the school children pass? They is under the high tension. So in case there is any disaster, what is going to happen? So
Patrice,
it baffles me.
Patrice, sorry, but because of time, what now that TDC has come to confirm that the place, they've seen the original plan and the place was earmarked for these amenities, what is the approach? What are they saying now?
No, they haven't seen it. It is the residents
who
have
now
seen the plan. Yes.
Okay.
So we now have to go to the TDC boss to prove to him. The thing has gone all the way to the vice president's office. And they wrote stop work on the wall. They have cemented it. They have cleaned it up. They have broken the rules, the regulations, the authority of the vice president.
But you know the funny thing, Patrice, you know the funny thing. Even if it is not in the plan, knowing very well that the place, you just said that it caused flooding, right?
A lot of flooding. So they had to break parts of the wall. They have to create holes.
Isn't it just common sense to know that, okay, even if I don't have it in the plan, it is possibly a waterway, and that's the reason why it has to cause flood anytime we are erecting walls or having any property there. Do we need to have it in the plan before we know that, okay, this is not good for us?
My brother, There is a difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is knowing what the situation is. Wisdom is applying the right methods to ensure that the knowledge you have is positive or used appropriately. So that is where we find ourselves as a country.
This is sad. Anyway, so we are still discussing it, and trust you me, I'm sure I will join you to do the necessary follow-ups we need to do to make sure that we bring this to a logical conclusion. And when we are done, we'll come and report same here for the viewers and the world to know that it is time for us as citizens to make sure that the right things are done. We can't just leave it in the hands of our authorities because they seem to be disappointing us day in, day out. Patrice, thank you so much. And really, I appreciate your commitment to ensuring that this comes to the public domain. Any one of you who is watching and sees similar thing happening, you can always do recordings and bring it to our attention, and Politics and Beyond will surely dive into it. Patrice, thank you so much. We'll communicate after my show, my brother. Thank you so much. Okay. So viewers, these are the things. At least we've seen 2 of the videos. One, we got Patrice to elaborate on it for us. The first one had to do with cantonment, what is happening in cantonment. I'm going to activate the phone lines because where we've gotten to, our time is almost up, but I'll activate the phone lines for us to see if we can take about 2 or 3 calls. When you get the chance to call, be as brief as possible. Let me know your comments. Let me know what you have to say regarding life after the flood. Do we have the first caller on the line? Caller, welcome to Politics and Beyond. All right, so let me quickly go through 1 or 2 of the messages whilst we wait, because we have a number of messages. This one says that, my question is this: must the president be responsible for everything? And my answer to the question is no. But if the appointments at the assembly, district, municipal levels come from the presidency and things are not working, it's his responsibility to fire them. If he will not fire them, since he is the hiring manager, then he equally deserves to take all the blame. And this is coming from Justice. Justice, you didn't tell me where you are calling from. You are testing from. Caller, welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Thank you very much.
Your name and where you are calling from?
My name is Ernest, calling from Medina.
Your name is Smith.
Ernest from Medina.
Ernest, please go ahead.
Okay, sure. So I just want to thank you for the great work you are doing for Mother Ghana.
Thank you.
Yes, and what I want to say is that, one problem we have in this country is that whenever we are building, we don't consider drainage. That is where the water will flow through. Without drainage, whenever it rains, it will cover the community. So what is happening at cantonment? If these multinational construction companies, they should make sure that we put drainage as part of their building, so that the water can be directed to the right source. I want to also extend greetings to Honorable Lawyer Francis Yasusu and the MC Honorable Filer, the great work they're doing in Medina. Thank you.
All right, Ernest, thank you so much. Let me go back to a message or 2. The scope of the problem is far from over, in my candid opinion. Caller, welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Yeah, thank you.
Your name and where you are calling from?
I'm William, calling from Amasama.
All right, William, please go ahead.
I would like to speak to you.
Koso.
Problem no, problem me when say a buying problem. A municipal assembly problem say say baby a quiet down. Say a man for Sidania, be yi sa kwan nyina de ato na gates ne yaye. Ye twa many pan develop area ni wi ansa na be peg kwan na gota de ato. No, and I Ghana for a problem.
Matse.
The area is that a developer, a administrative, no, and she quine in to tune, to only panel to one the quine that you will support to still be on part, dear mammy. By a one developer, Jenny, and Sunny at the pet a quino at the Apodia, San Ebeye, Kogana, no being control be, Obisika be or one, or no for sale was going to be in a yard or no be, or a Mrebian channel.
Matime das about quickly. The person me out here saying say you can't abaya enye president in Kone ya aban. While the kind kasi municipal meba o kasi municipal meboa municipal eka aban ho. Inti ye kan aban a omu nyina na ye refer to omo as aban. So ti ase. Aha, me that's it. Okay. Next caller, welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you're calling from?
Please, I'm Raphael. I'm calling from Western Region.
Raphael, please go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, please. Okay. Well, what I have to say is basically the issues Ghana is having is bigger than what they think. You know, the flooding, it's lost lives, it's lost properties. Africans and Black as a people, what you need is togetherness. You don't need politics.
Right.
Because you've been doing politics for years. Years now, you've not seen improvement, but you've been still doing politics. So if you do politics and you forget about the infrastructure that you need, that will help make people's lives better. You do politics, when disaster comes, then we all come as a nation, we are crying, what are we going to do? Then posts will come again, we'll go and stand there, we divide ourselves, we vote. So we all coming together as one because we call ourselves a nation. A nation is not divided. So if we call ourselves a nation and we always fight on who should come and lead us, it's not a nation, and we can't do anything better for ourselves.
That's right.
We keep on killing ourselves because of politics. So first of all, what I think we have to do is to go back to the drawing board. Think of how we as a nation will come together as one. Have a one leader, or have a way of having a leader who leads us and a party. You don't need two parties. It won't help us.
That's
basically.
Right. Ralph, thank you so much.
What I have to put it.
I agree with you. As I indicated, it's one of the key things that affects us has to do with political interference. And that's exactly what Raphael mentioned. Caller, welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Thank you, boss. My name is Kofori, calling from Christian Unibada Bogoso.
Kofori, Bogoso. Obiaho ye?
Oh, Nyamiado Mobia, where you are.
Good. Me pache you.
Okay, Medasi. And come on, I'm going to here, pa. Now, a problem is I sometimes in a blame ban, because any a quarter by a the basis. In I can't buy no. But ye share paying for no moody and say or monombe. But since you know Oba, we say MVP need any and I say NDC need any na be.
No correct.
Only mobia. You know say all the quiet politics are. If you know Oba, only say NDC need any, only say MVP need any. Oba and Oba. It is a ha, which area. Now say umuma kwama obi be sele baby a insufa. Na muma ni prabi in profolo be sele one on ti obi o. Obe ni project one ti obi. On what be you at abrosanso. No one will ever do music about a one other silly. And yes, sir. And the authorities in a man said they're not move for so can be. And so almost because it's your phobia, they be a new super animal. Some of these normally say disaster management organization. Help to manage the disaster. So, in case before disaster and business, so many kind is here and sana is. But o me hwa o ma fele sa nsuo ne kwan na o ba wasama mu ha senya mane ekoso pa very soon ye be mu sa fa de nya kasa kese because maybe nsuo fa ni na no me yeden o mo fele sometimes nyema bo ono ma me hwa say o ma mpanyi anasa aban training bi na ba because aban training ne dan nsuo kwan ni
no correct
ye ntimemufo ne to na so bia fo ni bi so o mo moae because na di tunyama so bia so ndwa chance asiniti no obepia opebia to adi ntino ba bia yensu mu kura no opia to ama obi no discussion no kesa enyina ebebe nti institutions na e o ma said no omo straight omo rules no straight to the extent say obi ntimi nkoton nsuo kwan mu senka omo sidan ni si omo bubu obi adia
Go be the right thing. Go for it. They all can no crepe. Me know ya dream. Yamin council. Kola, welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you are calling from?
Yeah, my name is Afasule and I'm calling from Tamale.
Your name again?
Afasule.
Okay, please go ahead.
I am saying me
Me pacho country.
I must have one who you were kissing in Ghana. And now that is the best. Ever put that case we are Katan Mika. Ever put that case like Chancellor and ya, and Chacho, because everyone in They said Galamsey as a 20. And some of the two over there of the sheep. No. And some of the two.
Hello? What's your main count? Oh, I'm sorry, you lose. So sorry. I mean, for the very last caller, because of time, we are going beyond our time. So, the very last caller. Caller, welcome to Politics and Beyond. Hello, caller.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to Politics and Beyond. Udini baby akasefi. Okay, Bernard, it's you.
Me bacho me concern here. Abubu ya for na spa bola no. Ya me ye juma wo tanka yard e dey cop barrier side. Na o shefi motorway no so a odi wa tema overhead na se ho no. O mu ludu no mo dey ba. O mu nya du ho ba bia o bo se na obi a party bisi kwan no ho. O be ka se machine na say. Obe jina ho because o mu ko bola no so a line da ho.
Yeah.
Do be make sure so obe party esi kwan ho. O jina ho de be san kakra na o hweka bia ma no no a se dadane machine na to ho de se de. Ura under bridge, miss under bridge. Overhead na e dey cross so dey call Kematima Ashamatima market na.
Yeah.
Ura se ho na e dey kwa. Bola no egugugu. E kwan ho a se bi penu bia obi hu se obi gina ho no mo sa me betwe video kura tema me de to social media.
Okay.
O mo she da party no a hange kan de say machine de say de ka say. O hwe na hwe obe ko be ba no na mienu enegu bola negu kwan no.
Yeah.
Ndi authorities no mo check sa abobo ya for na de bola ne be sin ko bombaria no.
Very true. Yeah.
Serious.
Honestly, they're okay. I have witnessed it before. Me angasa me huda. But me make sure say oni pa kono ebe move bola no to where it was supposed to go. Until now we should be on the watch. But yes, abobo ya for no. Very, very true.
Yeah. Ube watu le natino.
Yeah.
Ansa na ube watu le nati epie no. Very true se trigu ho sisi ya make say.
Yeah, I know. I know.
The authorities,
they should monitor. That's the most important thing. But Midikanka earlier said, it looks like authorities, they are failing us. Into our citizens, you're making sure say thank you so much. So this will do for the cause. We appreciate all of you. Let me take one or two messages from the many messages that has come. This one says, and it's coming from Benedict Nyako. He says, Mr. Wilson, the scope of the problem is far from over, in my candid opinion. The Environmental Protection Authority, what exactly is their mandate? Land and Special Planning Authority, the Civil Service and Public Sector Reform, local government and governance. The laws exist as white elephants. Lack of enforcement is the problem, nonetheless. And that is, very true. This one says, Mr. Wilson, this flood issue is human factor. The major factor is our attitude. Law. This has to do with dumping indiscriminately. Another is putting our building at the same time, providing pavement in our homes. This is Okay, providing pavement in our homes. And this is coming from Kumsen from Ho. Mr. Watson, please, this is Justine calling from Sun City. We have to stop all plastic bottles. Thank you. Yeah, plastic things are also part. Mr. Watson, this flood causes so many damage to the nation. Mashallah, NDC will do part to demarcate the waters. Okay, you didn't add your name. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. This is too much impunity in this country. Oh, there is too much impunity in this country. Before election 2024, I saw a government bungalow with the bold inscriptions, private property, in an area called Windy Ridge in Takoradi. How and when did that government become a private property? Asem Sebe. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. God bless you for the good work you are doing. If the certain government is willing to look beyond electoral considerations and focus on the long-term interest of the nation, one practical step toward addressing this persistent flooding problem is to enforce existing environmental laws by removing illegal structures built on wetlands. Protecting wetlands and preventing further encroachment will help reduce flooding and safeguard lives and property for future generations. And this is coming from Reverend Noah Wilson. Okay, my name. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. Thanks so much for such marvelous work you are doing to help our mother Ghana. Thank you too. You didn't add your name. Talking about sanitation, it is clear that the assemblies have failed to enforce their bylaws. So I suggest that the sanitation aspect of their job must be given to the military, and we shall see the difference. And this is coming from Asanko Santa Maria. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. This is Chief Mashood Abiola from Tamale. It's been a long time. Please join me mourn the passing of the king of Dagon. Yes, our condolence to the kingdom. The king of Dagon is dead, and so we all share in your grief. Mr. Wilson, the government is too slow in collecting the refuse and sand from the gutters. The president must be serious with the assemblies concerning issuance of building permits. Some of us voted for the NDC due to the fact that the entire NPP as a party are nation wreckers. And this is coming from Reverend Nati. Mr. Wilson, this is the only way to avoid this flooding. I mean, the only way to avoid this flooding is that okay, maybe let me just read it for all of you to laugh with me. See, the only way to avoid this flooding is that Basintali should pay we the Zoom Lion to go back to work. And this coming from Seidu Boko Central. I'll take the very last message. Forgive me if I'm not able to read your message. Mr. Wilson, good evening to you and your viewers. In fact, the flood situation in Accra is caused by a lot of factors, ranging from natural to human. Everyone must get involved to amortize the situation. Politicization will not solve it. And this is Agbe, Adaklu, Chirife, Adaklu district. So Agbe, okay, Agbe from Adaklu, Chirife, Adaklu district. All right, this becomes the very last message I will read. But honestly speaking, this issue of flood is something that we must not play the ostrich. It is something that we must consistently ensure that it doesn't repeat itself again. It's quite disheartening and unfortunate that we are sitting in a country, and I'll use cantonments as an example. I mean, the two videos that were shown. Look at what is happening in cantonments. Isn't it so sad that we have LADMA, that's Ladade Kotopon Municipal Assembly, seeing this, going to the extent of telling them whoever owns it to remove it, and yet goes to sleep, and the person has actually completed and is operating. And LADMA is still there. Not that the assembly has been collapsed or it has collapsed. It is still operating. Between the period of remove it till now, what happened? Look at the one that Patrice brought to our attention. A place that has been earmarked for community benefits. We've decided, no we, some individuals we are paying with our taxes have decided to sell the land. And now it is also causing flooding when it rains. Why are we doing this to ourselves as a country? We'll continue with this conversation till we get to that realization that indeed, flood doesn't start in the sky. It starts from our gutters. That indeed, flood is a governance failure. And when we set up and we engage in good governance, some of these things will be minimized. NADMO, just like one of my callers or testers said, one component of your mandate has to do with management. How are you managing the flood? Why do we always want to be reactive instead of being proactive as a country? And those MPs that I saw their videos who were trying to get the cameras and let people know that they are working or whatever they are doing, chastising people for not coming out to engage in cleanups. This media camera gimmick, we've gone past it. Let's be serious as a country. You don't have to wait for the president to wear his Wellington boots and come down to be holding shovels before you are seen as a minister, before you are seen as a DC, before you are seen as a mayor doing what you are being paid to do. No, that's not a country we want. That's not a country we want. Indeed, that's why we have politics and beyond, because our focus, as I keep saying, is for us to build a country that will be of extreme benefit, if not for us, at least for the next generation and for our children who are even yet to be born. All too soon, this is where time will allow us. Next week, we'll surely come in with another proactive discussion, as we've always done, with the intention of shaping and building a future that all of us will be proud of, and our next generation will come and applaud us for. So we meet again next week. I'm still your host, Emmanuel Wilson Jr., and all I can say for now is good night.